Don't move me! Ah! What is it? 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 Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah! Ah!
The horror of E3. You don't want to know what I've seen this week, what I've been through. E3 is over now. You can see what's left of it behind me. I don't have time this week to come up with clever jokes or transitions in between stories. Hold up a minute. I think I see Jessica Chobot over there. Give me a second. Alright. Now, where was I? E3. I've had to memorize some really stupid names for games this week, like Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha, which happens to be a new DLC pack for Dead Rising 3. Capcom had very little to show at this E3, and this was probably the most significant, or at least the most interesting thing they had to show. It adds 4-player co-op to the game and a whole slew of new skins from classic Capcom franchises such as Dino Crisis, Darkstalkers, even Power Stone, and best of all, it's out now. And one of the reasons why Capcom didn't have much shit to show this year, they've lost quite a few developers over the last decade. One of those developers in particular was Hideki Kamiya. You might know him as the creator of the Devil May Cry series, as well as a lot of other great Capcom titles. Well, he went and formed Platinum Games, which is one of the developers that I predicted was maybe going to be Microsoft's big third-party exclusive reveal, and guess what? I was right, because I'm always right. And the game being shown by Platinum for the Xbox One is called Scalebound, which bears a striking resemblance to Capcom's own Monster Hunter series, which is a huge selling franchise. It's actually Capcom's biggest selling franchise in Japan. So if the Xbox is looking to really get a foothold in that territory, a Monster Hunter ripoff by the king of action games, who used to work at the company that created Monster Hunter, might be a pretty damn good idea. And for some reason, now there's a trend to have cool main characters in your video game that wear headphones. This was shown in Scalebound, but it's actually more in full effect in the other big Xbox One exclusive from Insomniac Games called Sunset Overdrive. Surely you've already heard of the game. There was a big reveal not only a month ago that showed off the first gameplay footage after last year's E3 CG trailer, and of course a lot more was shown at this year's E3, so much that there is a media roundup, so you can watch all the great video of this game that looks as a combination of Jet Set Radio, Ratchet and Clank, and definitely isn't a cover-based first-person shooter, which they make a very big point during their press conference trailer. And if you were looking for shooters at this E3, well, guess what? There's a shitload of shooters. Starting with Microsoft's press conference, which showed the Master Chief Collection we all knew was already coming, which collects Halo 1 through 4 with HD graphics, online play, and even Forge will be making a return in the collection. And as a part of this collection, you'll also get access to the Halo 5 Guardians beta, which is what we all really want to be playing anyway. Very few details about Halo 5 Guardians, just a CG trailer showing Master Chief, the Arbiter, and the new Blue Visor Spartan, who we now think is named Agent Locke. There's a joke there somewhere, but I don't have time to make it. On to the next story. Next shooter, Battlefield Hardline, was leaked last week. We already knew what it was, we've already seen video of it, Now we saw some more video of it, but hey, surprise! You can actually play it right now. As part of EA's press conference, they announced that Battlefield Hardline would be in open beta right now during E3. You can currently access it through PC or PS4. It was on a first come, first served basis, so if by the time you're watching this, you probably won't be able to get into the beta. I've personally been playing it a little bit, getting my ass handed to me because it's quite a difficult game and very more closed in and different than traditional Battlefield games, but still worth trying to check out in case there's still some beta slots out there. And shooter number 3, Rainbow Six Siege. This was the big reveal in Ubisoft's E3 press conference. You might have remembered a couple years ago Rainbow Six Patriots, which quietly died off in a corner somewhere in Canada or Montreal or Quebec or wherever the hell Ubisoft is these days. And now it's back. The mode that was shown during the trailer was a 5v5 police versus I guess terrorists or hostage takers or whatever you want to call them situation, which kind of reminds me a bit of Battlefield Hardline, and wondering why it's Rainbow Six when there's only 5 people on the team. But the game looks pretty amazing. It has fully destructible environments, all sorts of neat tools. The demo was kind of ruined by overly enthusiastic scripted voice chat during the supposed gameplay session, so you might want to watch this one with the mute button on because it sure is damn pretty. And shooter number 4 is Doom 4. Kind of. It didn't really, it wasn't in any of the press conferences. The trailer just came out during E3, and it was just a teaser trailer telling us that we will be receiving a full Doom 4 reveal at next month's QuakeCon. Bethesda really didn't have much to show besides their free-to-play Epic, not Epic, but Battle Cry from Battle Cry Studios. And we probably at QuakeCon will also get a look at Dishonored 2, since the logo for that exists out there. We know that game is coming. And still no Fallout 4, and don't expect Fallout 4 probably this year. Just keep on holding on to hope. It's coming eventually. Shooter number 5, Star Wars Battlefield. Not quite a shooter. While you've got lasers, but you also have lightsabers. No gameplay was shown again, just CG and a lot of talking to DICE, the developers behind the game. And interestingly enough, while they're working on Star Wars Battlefront, there was quite a significant amount of the next Mirror's Edge game also shown. So DICE is doing double duties right now, developing, but at least Visceral Games is in charge of this year's iteration of Battlefield. So, Star Wars Battlefront, not coming this year, not coming anytime soon. It's one of those cases where it'll be done when it's done. I'd probably expect it to be released close to when we'll be seeing the first of J.J. Abrams' Star Wars movies. Shooter number 6, Dead Island 2. Now there's a lot of weird things about this. Dead Island, really maybe not traditionally a shooter series. It's first person, but has quite a bit of melee combat and different kinds of weapons. Usually guns or the least used weapon in the Dead Island series, but it's also a series known for sucking really hard the past couple years. Dead Island Riptide in particular. So having it at Sony's big on-stage E3 press conference was kind of like, huh? What's going on here? But things started to come together afterwards in some interviews when it was revealed that Techland is actually not the developer on this Dead Island sequel. It's going to be done by Jaeger, who are the developers of the excellent Spec Ops: The Line. So this could actually be a good Dead Island game. And whether you like it or not, it seems Jack Black is voicing a character in the game. The trailer actually takes place in LA, so it's a possibility Jack Black could be playing Jack Black. If you do watch the trailer, be warned, there is a very snazzy, catchy song in it. So if you don't want to be repeating a very stupid song in your head for a couple days, maybe watch this one on mute too. Shooter number... Sorry, I thought I saw Adam Sessler over there. That bastard's been trying to get me all week. Shooter number 7 actually comes from Nintendo, believe it or not. There's a 4v4 online shooter being developed by them called Splatoon. Splatoon is a game where you play as a team of humanoid squid, and you spray ink all over the map, trying to claim territory and taking out the other team. I've frankly never seen anything like it. It's a very original title. Looks fun to play. Quite a bit of gameplay was shown all throughout E3 on a few live streams. This game came out of nowhere. Best shooter of E3 from Nintendo? Well, could very well be. So maybe Splatoon wasn't the best shooter of E3, but I think it's safe to say that the best of the E3 press conferences was by Nintendo. They just killed it this year. The highlight of their press conference was showing the next iteration of The Legend of Zelda on the Wii U. Even though Hyrule Warriors actually looks surprisingly good and a game that people actually will want to play, we're talking about the next serious entry into the Zelda series from Aonuma and his team, and it's the Zelda game we've been wanting for quite a while. It's basically Skyrim meets Zelda. Totally open world, HD, beautiful graphics. It's almost like painterly or cel shaded, which they confirmed was in-game. This wasn't a CG trailer or a mock-up. This was actual gameplay. And the big shocker towards the end of this quick little reveal was Link was not wearing his traditional outfit. And this wouldn't be the first time where there's been a portion of the game where Link didn't wear the outfit, and it's actually pretty close to what Toon Link wore in Wind Waker. So this could be a mature open world Skyrim style Zelda Wind Waker title, and best of all, is coming next year. Oh my god, Nintendo wins E3. And Nintendo capped off their glorious E3 triumph that day with a invitational Super Smash Bros. Tournament with a full crowd full of people cosplaying, a lot of different people from different developers also in the studio audience watching this tournament, and quite a bit of Smash Brothers news at this year's E3. The character reveals include Palutena from Kid Icarus, Mii's, which are fully customizable characters, which tie into the Amiibo figurines, which are the near-field communication toys that everybody knew was coming for this game. And later on at a Smash Brothers roundtable after the tournament, surprise! Pac-Man's in the game. Which, some people guessed that one kind of early if you go back and read my E3 predictions trailer, or not trailer, article, which was totally right about everything because I'm always right. So Pac-Man, Mega Man, Mario, and Sonic, all in the same fighting game. Chew on that. Okay, I was lying about that last one. So I was wrong about a lot of stuff at this E3, specifically Sony. So there was no Last Guardian shown. Project Beast was shown, and now is called Bloodborne, but that one was kind of leaked early, so we knew that. Probably one of the biggest surprises, well, I'll tell you. Alright, besides the Nintendo announcement of the next Zelda, the best number one E3 moment for me this year was Sony letting Tim Schafer remake Grim Fandango. There's actually no article about this on the website right now. I'm not even really supposed to be talking about it. I'm wasting time, but this is awesome. And they got permission from Disney to remake Grim freaking Fandango. If you've never played this game, you'll finally get to play it. It's a masterpiece. One of Tim Schafer's best games. But what I was going to say about Sony is surprise reveal of Little Big Planet 3. Didn't see this one coming, especially since Little Big Planet creator Media Molecule already said that they weren't going to be attending E3 along with Guerrilla Games, Sony Santa Monica, and quite a few other notably missing Sony developers. Actually, Sony kind of had the worst press conference this year. But Little Big Planet 3, the reason why we didn't see Media Molecule is because they're not the ones making this. It's being made by Sumo Digital, who you might know for some Sega games that they did. I think like some of the Sega Tennis, the Sonic Tennis stuff or whatever. And they've done the latest Little Big Planet games. 4-player co-op, super cute looking HD graphics. There's a bird named Swoop. And while Sony had a pretty bad E3, there were some that actually had worse. One in particular was Square Enix, Squaresoft, Squaresoft IDOS, whatever you want to call them. The Japanese side of Square didn't show squat this year. No, I think there was a little bit about Final Fantasy XIV and a 3DS Final Fantasy game that wasn't even announced at E3, but somehow got announced in Japan around the time of E3. But I digress. The American side of Square Enix did show a CG trailer for the next Tomb Raider game from Crystal Dynamics. It's Rise of the Tomb Raider, a direct sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot. So you're still the young, plucky Lara Croft who has terrible pronunciation of Japanese words. That was one of my pet peeves about the Tomb Raider reboot. And along with that is Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, I believe is the exact title, which is also a direct sequel to the top-down Tomb Raider, or I should say Lara Croft top-down shooter game from Xbox Live a couple years ago. I believe not till 2015. That was actually probably almost every game announced at this E3. There's hardly anything coming out this year. If it was coming out, it got delayed till next year. So start saving up your money now, because 2015 is going to have a crap ton of games. Assassin's Creed Unity, the new Assassin's Creed game this year. Big surprise. Not really. It was leaked early already. Details we knew from the existing Assassin's Creed Unity leak, which led Ubisoft to actually releasing a trailer early. Takes place during the French Revolution. Main character is a guy named Arno, and people get beheaded by guillotines and all sorts of good stuff. So the big reveal for this game during E3 is 4-player online co-op. Command 4 assassins and coordinate your kills, and other than that, it looks like yet another Assassin's Creed game. Actually looks more Assassin's Creedy than Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, but it's next gen only, so it looks a whole hell of a lot prettier. Surprisingly, the other leaked Assassin's Creed game, codenamed Comet, which was supposed to be for current gen, well, I guess last gen systems now, Comet wasn't shown, wasn't even mentioned. It's supposed to be coming out this year. Perhaps we'll see it later this year at the Gamescom convention in Germany. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, and speaking of getting things wrong, I was wrong about Uncharted for quite a bit. Considering the lead writer and some other key staff members left Naughty Dog, I was thinking Uncharted 4 was in some serious development trouble, wasn't going to be out anytime soon, but not really CG, it was an in-game footage reveal of Uncharted 4, even though there was no gameplay shown. It's coming next year, it's got Nathan Drake in it, it's Uncharted. Seems a little bit more serious, especially since now it's being done by the team that did The Last of Us. So hopefully this isn't the most depressing Uncharted game you'll ever play. The subtitle is A Thief's End, so perhaps this is the final Uncharted game, or at least the last to feature Nathan Drake. Did I mention Nintendo won E3 yet? They were so confident in this year's E3. There was three, count them, three Shigeru Miyamoto games at E3 that they didn't even bother to show in their not live stream, not press conference, not a Nintendo Direct, whatever you call their E3 video. Three Miyamoto games being shown at E3 this year. They were leaked a little bit early before Nintendo's live event, thanks to Time. You know, those people that used to put out that magazine called Time. They leaked it on their website. And one of those titles is a Star Fox game, although it's still pretty early in development, even though supposedly it's been around since the original Wii, so I don't know how that works, how the game still isn't very complete. They just showed three multiplayer modes, dogfighting, pretty traditional stuff except for one mode where you're in a helicopter and you use the pad to look around, and you know, you can see below the helicopter by looking down at your pad. And the other two experimental Miyamoto games, codename, I believe, Giant Robot, where you're like a giant toy robot and you use the gyroscope and the controller to swing your arms around. It's very slow, lumbering, kind of big robot stuff, so if you're expecting something like Pacific Rim or Front Mission or Armored Core, anything like that, nah, this isn't it. And then the other one was, I believe, codenamed Guardian, where you're using the Wii Pad to look through a series of security cameras in a prison and fire guns, and I know that sounds like really mature, but of course it's in outer space and it's lasers and it's like robot puppies or something trying to invade your prison. It's Nintendo. So those two games seem to be like some sort of mini game collection similar to Nintendo Land or Wii Sports, where Star Fox could be its own release. Hopefully it's not going to be part of a collection. I think that would piss off a lot of people that we've had to wait this long for a new Star Fox game just for it to be a mini game collection. And another game that Nintendo didn't unveil in their live pre-recorded event was a 3DS title from Intelligent Systems, who are the developer of the fantastic Fire Emblem and Advance Wars series. And this is another strategy title, but it breaks quite a few conventions we've known from their previous strategy titles. It's called codename S.T.E.A.M. It uses a very interesting art style. It's an American comic book. The art director was actually at E3, and she was saying she drew direct inspiration from Jack Kirby and Bruce Timm. Definitely shows in the artwork. It's cool looking. It's, you know, American comic book sort of cell shaded look to it, and unlike previous strategy titles from this developer, there's no top-down view. It's all behind your character, third person. You can rotate the camera, but you can't see the entire map. So you actually have to scout and use up your Steam supply for movement. Lots of interesting ideas here. Great that Nintendo's showing off quite a few new IPs this year, along with Splatoon. Good on Nintendo. And a really cool game that looks like it could be on 3DS, but it's not, was actually a game that was in Sony's E3 press conference last year when they brought all of those indies up on stage to demo their games. You might have remembered one was sort of like a cowboyish, not top-down shooter, but overhead view shooter. That game has a name now. It's called Secret Ponchos, and you'll be able to start playing it this summer on Steam Early Access, and it'll be out later this year on both PlayStation 4 and Steam. From early impressions, I actually thought this game was sort of like Capcom's old Gunsmoke shooter, or, you know, the shooters of that era, you know, like Ikari Warriors and that kind of stuff, POW, whatever. But it's not. It's a dueling game, so your opponents are actually other human-controlled opponents online. So it's like a combat game. It's not always one-on-one, and you collect bounties and all sorts of cool stuff. It looks good. It's good to see indies at E3. Not many can afford it, but thanks to Sony's push to get indies on the PlayStation 4, we got a glimpse of a few very cool games. And last but not least is the de facto best fighting game of E3, since for some reason Capcom felt it wasn't a good idea to reveal their new fighting game at this year's E3. Fingers crossed for Tokyo Game Show in September. But Mortal Kombat X, it's good. It's quite good. It's kind of unfortunate that the game is on both last and current gen systems, so they can't quite push things as much as you'd like, but the gameplay that they showed on PlayStation 4 looked pretty on par with Killer Instinct on Xbox One, which got TJ Combo announced, by the way. Didn't mention that earlier. And there's 11 minutes of gameplay footage up on the website. You get to see the new characters in action, quite a few new characters. I believe 4 or 5 new characters in this trailer, or this reveal, besides Scorpion and Sub-Zero. There's Devora, who's like an insect lady. Farah Tor, if you've played Capcom vs. SNK 2, if you remember Chang, and the way he had the little guy, the little Freddy Krueger guy with claws, who I can't remember what his name is right now. Basically, like, you know, a giant and Peter Dinklage fighting alongside of him. That's a female version of Peter Dinklage, I guess. And maybe a relative of Shao Kahn, Kotal Khan. And the biggest surprising character, Cassie Cage, who is the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. I actually didn't link to the gameplay trailer of her. I should actually go. Yeah, now that I think about it, I should go add that video in. There was gameplay footage of her, but she looks kind of rough. I don't think they're quite done with that character yet. Fatalities were shown. They're awesome. There's bees. If you've watched the Nicolas Cage movie, The Wicker Man, you'll see obvious inspiration for some of the insect fatalities. And it's coming next year. And it's coming on everything, even PC, which is probably the platform I'm probably going to end up playing it on. Lots of Injustice influence. And it's good on Ed Boon for not just bringing back all the characters that he killed in the last Mortal Kombat game. He's actually keeping them dead, bringing in a new roster. There was at least 24 slots on the character select screen by my count, and he hinted that the last boss of the game will be a surprise to people, so of course that means it's probably Raiden or some bullshit like that. So that was E3 this year. Some disappointments, some surprises, a lot of hype. Didn't expect Nintendo to win E3. Didn't expect Sony to beat Microsoft, but it looks like they did. Weak year for Japanese developers. Quite a lot of sequels, quite a lot of shooters, but then surprising stuff like Scalebound on the Xbox One from Platinum Games. Bayonetta 2 looks great, and did I mention Nintendo killed it? So, that's it for this week. For all your latest gaming news, previews, and LAN events in your local area, even though there's not going to be any news next week. We'll still be recovering from E3. Hopefully the LA Convention Center will be repaired by then, because we'll have to do this all again next year. So I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. I'm out of here.